I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You've wasted years of your life, and you know it. Years trapped in dead-end jobs where your soul went quiet. Years inside relationships that chipped away at your self-respect, your energy, your clarity. You stayed long after the knowing arrived, long after the exit door showed up in your dreams, long after your body started begging you to go. And still, you stayed. This video is not here to judge you. It's here to name what happened and show you the way out. Because what you've been calling patience, maturity, or loyalty was often just slow-motion self-abandonment. You kept waiting for a better time to leave. You told yourself you were just being realistic. You convinced yourself that things would change, that people would notice, that you'd be rewarded for how much you endured. But no reward came. Only more time lost. And now there's a quiet panic setting in. How much longer can I do this? How many more years am I going to give to what drains me? If that's where you are, this isn't just a hard season. It's a rupture. It's your soul saying, we can't survive another decade like this. This video is your turning point. By the end of it, you'll understand exactly why you stayed, why it cost you so much, and how to finally break the trance before more of your life gets wasted on what was never meant for you. In the next section, we'll break open the hidden reason you stayed so long, and why your fear of leaving wasn't about comfort. It was about identity collapse. Because you weren't just afraid to lose them, or the job. You were afraid to lose the version of you that kept surviving it. Let's name what it's cost you. Not just time, not just opportunities, but something deeper. Your ability to trust your own signal. Because every time you knew it was time to go and didn't, you trained yourself not to listen. You taught your body that clarity wasn't safe, that truth should be negotiated, that intuition only matters if someone else agrees with it. And that training didn't just affect your choices, it rewired your nervous system. Now, you hesitate even when the answer is clear. Now, you second-guess peace because chaos feels familiar. Now, you wait to be sure, even when the exit sign is glowing red in your gut. You didn't just lose years. You lost momentum. You lost self-trust. You lost the muscle memory of leaving when your soul says go. Because you were praised for staying, for being the bigger person, for being committed, loyal, patient. You weren't taught how to leave with grace, only how to stay until it broke you. And now, you're carrying that pattern into everything. Waiting too long, over-explaining, fearing regret more than decay. But here's the truth. Regret doesn't come from leaving too soon. It comes from realizing you knew, and you still didn't move. In the next section, I'll show you why that signal, that voice, that ache, that knowing, never actually left. It just got buried beneath everything you were taught to call strength. And now, it's about to come roaring back. Your signal never left. It just got quieter every time you overrode it. But even in the moments you called yourself crazy, dramatic, or disloyal, it was still there. Still whispering, this isn't it. That ache in your chest when you smile and feel nothing. That jolt in your stomach when they dismiss you again. That subtle collapse in your shoulders when you open your laptop to do work that drains your spirit. Those weren't moods. They were messages. Because your inner world is a compass. And every time it twisted in discomfort, every time it lit up with quiet defiance, Every time it froze in resignation. It was sending you the coordinates for freedom. But if you grew up being rewarded for endurance and punished for disruption, then of course you learned to confuse tension with maturity. Of course you trained yourself to stay calm while dying inside. You were never broken. You were conditioned. And now the conditioning is breaking. That restlessness you feel? That tightness in your chest when you think about staying one more year? That's not weakness. That's your clarity coming back online. And yes, it's terrifying. Because now, the excuses are starting to sound hollow. Now, the justifications aren't holding. Now, your body is louder than your logic. Which means, the truth is rising. Not as an idea, but as a felt urgency. In the next section, we stop stalling. I'll show you what it actually looks like to stop explaining your unhappiness and start exiting the spaces that demand you abandon yourself to stay. This is the break. There's a moment when something snaps. Not violently, not recklessly, but finally. It's the moment you stop explaining, stop managing, stop asking for your suffering to be validated by the people or systems causing it. You just decide, I'm done. Not because everything's figured out, not because it feels easy, but because it's clear. You look at the job, the relationship, the entire scaffolding of the life you've been tolerating, and the spell breaks. You see it for what it is, a structure built on self-denial, a rhythm of shrinking, a performance you've rehearsed for years, so well, you forgot it was optional. But now the choice is undeniable. You can either keep burning years on something you've outgrown, or you can walk away without needing to justify why. Because you've already paid the price. You don't owe more of your life just to prove you gave it a fair shot. This is the break. Not a collapse, a severing. You stop waiting for the final straw. You stop needing a villain to blame. You stop asking if you're allowed to want peace. And you move. Even if the voice shakes, even if the floor trembles, even if no one claps when you leave. Because the applause isn't the point. The clarity is. In the next section, we walk forward. I'll show you what opens when you leave without guilt, and why the life you're stepping into doesn't just give you freedom, it gives you yourself. You didn't waste your life. You lived long enough in the wrong places to finally recognize the right one. And now you're walking out. Not because you failed, but because you remembered who you are. You don't need more warnings. You don't need one more moment of making it work. You've already done more than enough. The door was always there. You just weren't ready to believe you could walk through it without apology. But now, you no longer wait to be rescued. You no longer stay to be chosen. You choose yourself, not with bravado, with clarity. Not with spite, with integrity. You take your energy back, your intuition back, your self-trust back, and you carry it, trembling maybe, but whole, into a life that doesn't cost you your light to maintain. This isn't the story of collapse. It's the story of return. Return to your signal. Return to your standards. Return to the part of you that always knew what wasn't meant to last. And from here, you move differently. You don't explain peace. You don't negotiate aliveness. You don't linger where your body closes. because you've learned the difference between patience and self-abandonment, between loyalty and self-erasure, between staying and surviving. Now, you walk out, not because it's easy, but because it's true. You didn't run away, you rose. And now, the rest of your life begins with one clear, unapologetic step through the door. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.